This is the Huawei P10. Huawei P10. This has come to us from Vodafone, and it's Huawei's pretty much their flagship. There is a larger version, obviously the P10 Plus, but we're just having a look at the regular P10 here. For starters, it's an all singing, all dancing flagship, so it comes in an all singing, all dancing box. It brags the Leica brand down here with a dual camera array, and then it's got the Huawei emblem there and Huawei P10 on the top. We have Huawei design, you can just about see that. And then we've got some stuff on the side here. This has 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of ROM. Huawei design there. And a little bit of information on the back pertaining to where it's made and that kind of caper as well. So digging in, the box doesn't open in a conventional way. It's displayed to you in an ooh-ah very nice factor with the device sitting on top there. It's a nice unconventional box for a flagship, and deservedly so. Maybe we can see it's been unboxed by someone else. There's a little bit of stress signs to the box, and the device is sitting on the top here. We'll get to it later. It's nicely wrapped up in a protective layer, and then we pull this out and we've got some boxes and things underneath containing all the other bits and pieces. A white box with some stuff on it. Obviously we've got a SIM card ejector tool and a manual. We will have a look, however, just to check and see. There's the SIM card ejector tool presented neatly there, and then a Huawei P10 case, actually. So we have a quick start guide and a clear case that's included in the box. It's quite nice. It's fogged, and it's got a cutout here for the camera array, cutout on the side for the buttons, and a cutout on the bottom. So it's basic protection, but protection nonetheless. Very good on Huawei for doing that. Then under here we have the USB Type-C charge cable in white, and it's just over 1 meter long. We'll keep that out for charging purposes, obviously. And then we have a little set of included headphones, which look a wee bit like Apple's offerings. You can see it left and right there, with sound that comes out there, and also looks like sound comes out the side. So that'll be interesting to have a try with. We'll give them a go too. They might be standard amongst other Huawei devices recently, but I haven't seen them before because I haven't had a Huawei in a while. And then we have a Euro plug as well. So that's about it for the box. So this is the phone, and it's remarkably nice looking through the plastic. So we'll just slide it out as opposed to ripping the seal. There's no point in doing that. And there we have it. It's very nice. We've got a sort of pretty much a metal build all around. It feels quite like an iPhone or maybe a Google Pixel perhaps. Everything seems to go with this, with a chamfered edge to it, and a screen protector already installed. You can just about see that, which is becoming more and more common, especially from Huawei, which is really quite nice. And if you take that off, you will have to replace it with something else. So on the front here we have a 5.1 inch 1080 by 1920 screen, which has Gorilla Glass 5 across the front, under which there is what looks like a capacitive button, but it is in fact just a fingerprint reader. If memory serves from the announcements when this phone was originally launched, this is just a fingerprint reader, and it's actually quite difficult to see. I have to point it into various different shades of light in order to see it, because it's not pronounced in any way at all. And up to the top of the device we have an ear speaker, a forward-facing 8 megapixel camera, and a little sensor there. And moving round onto the side, antenna splits at the side, and then we have a volume rocker plus a power switch. The power switch is quite small, the volume rocker is quite large, but the power switch actually has some texture to it as well, and there also seems to be a little bit of colouring around it as well. There's like a red edge to it, which is in keeping with it being a power button, but it's actually quite nice. It's the only color that's really sort of bleeding through here. It's quite a nice idea. Then down here we have nothing save for a little antenna stripe across here. On the bottom is an external speaker, USB-C charge point, 3.5mm headphone jack, and a little microphone. Around this side is the SIM card tray with a little hole for you to use the SIM card ejector tool in the box. I believe this is a single SIM phone. So on the back we have two cameras, one of which is 20 megapixels, the other is 12 megapixels. There is also a dual LED there as well, and laser autofocus. The f-stop is 2.2 and it features optical image stabilization. The front-facing camera is actually an 8 megapixel with an f-stop of 1.9. I forgot to mention that. So we're getting it set up into English. I agree with everything you say. And we'll just fire through this as quickly as possible because it's all a standard Android phone setup, putting in your Google details and indeed a Huawei ID and the fingerprint scanner and that sort of thing as well. Really only took about 2 minutes in reality. Honestly, I found this touch sensor a wee bit awkward to get to. You will have to scan a number of fingers depending on which way you're using the phone, just to make it convenient. So that's the device all boot up. We've got EMUI running on the top, which is quite configurable now these days. You don't have to worry about all the bits and pieces around that. We'll turn the brightness up just to see how bright that goes. Make it look as spectacular as possible because the screen is a sight to behold. It's lovely. We have the full Google suite installed. I suppose there are a few bits and pieces missing here and there. We have a gallery application that is from part of EMUI, and the only thing we have is some stock photographs loaded. Up here we have the power manager, the theme manager for pasting other themes across there, a music player, videos, high game, which is actually the Huawei game store, it's pretty good, a health suite, calendar, notepad, email, high care, which is a health suite from Huawei that monitors your fitness. There's a dedicated messaging app, which is quite nice, and then there's a tools menu. In here we have a file explorer, a clock, a weather application, a little calendar, sound recorder, torch, a mirror, compass, backup, downloads, and SIM toolkit. Well, I guess there's only one SIM toolkit, so this must be a single SIM device. Top apps are installed. We have Instagram, TripAdvisor, Logbook, and Todoist. I don't know what Logbook is, so I'm going to open it. And then we're done with that fashion stuff. It looks like a fashion social network thing. Todoist is on there as well, which is quite nice. We have Facebook installed by standard. Looks like we can go over here, but it's a blank screen. Fair enough. The camera. This is the bit I'm most excited about with this phone. GPS tagging and all that kind of gipper. We'll bring in an old Google phone and we'll have a look at this. Okay, so it's just right, so hopefully those will work quite well, just as a sudden snap in fairly decent settings. Obviously we have no app drawer here. As with so many devices now, they seem to be losing the app drawer, at least many Huawei ones. If we go into our settings, fire down to the bottom and go to About Phone. So there's our device information. RAM 2 gigabytes currently being used. Phone storage, we have 11 gigabytes free of, 16 total. That does appear to be wrong. I'm reading that right, aren't I? Phone storage 11 gigabytes free, 16 gigabytes in total. But it's 64, it said on the box. RAM is 2 gigabytes, I'm imagining that's what's used. And if we zip over to the memory and storage function, we can see that it says it's got 64 gigabytes of storage. And under memory, yes, it shows that there's 3.59 gigabytes used and then 2.24 gigabytes free. So I don't exactly know what that other menu is quoting. I'll probably have to look into that, or perhaps email Huawei and find out. So anyway, that is the Huawei P10. It's a lovely looking device and I look forward to using it. It's feeling quite warm, to be honest. And I'll fire it into its wee case, which keeps it all tight and protected. That's kind of nice. It doesn't exactly weather protected or anything like that, but it does give you a little bit of extra peace in mind. It'll take an odd little knock if it was to slip out of your hand, because the initial device is quite slippy. So thanks very much for watching. Hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the notifications if you fancy. We should have a review of this up in the next 2 weeks. I'll update the show notes below with a link to that review. And other than that, take care. This is the broken fucking phone.